Imagine holding the entire universe in your hands, feeling the pulse of every star and every living creature, only to realize that the very way you have been taught to see the world is the exact thing tearing it apart. Welcome. Right now, our world is in a strange and terrifying place. We have built amazing technologies, yet our existence has never been more fragile. The biggest question of our time is how we deal with global conflict and weapons of mass destruction. Wars on the news seem to be about land or resources, but the truth is deeper. This crisis warns us of a broken way of thinking. For hundreds of years, humans have organized themselves based on tribalism and the idea that we are all entirely separate from one another. We have treated nature as something to be conquered. But recent massive breakthroughs in science, history, and spiritual ethics show us that this old material way of thinking is not just wrong, it is scientifically out of date. To save ourselves from being wiped out by nuclear weapons, biological threats, or runaway technology, we need a unified answer. We must bridge hard sciences like advanced physics and AI with the moral calling of peacemaking. By looking at the wisdom of brilliant scientists and peace builders, a beautiful new map for our survival emerges. It tears down the illusion that we are separate, showing us we are protectors of a shared future with a strict scientific reason to stop destroying ourselves. Let us start with the biggest lie of all, the idea of absolute separation. The core mistake of war is the belief that the other person across the border is totally disconnected from you and doesn't matter. But modern physics and biology have completely crushed this idea, proving with hard evidence that our reality is deeply interconnected. For a long time, the strange rules of quantum physics were thought to apply only to tiny, invisible things. That changed when visionary physicists proved the universe is inherently non-local. In connected systems, what happens to one particle instantly affects another, no matter the distance. Reality is not made of isolated pieces, but is a single, undivided web of relationships. This idea was pushed further when physicists proved this quantum magic isn't just for the tiny subatomic world. They showed larger objects can also act as a single, unified quantum entity. Suddenly, strict borders drawn between countries and the divisions of political tribes are revealed to be fake, artificial walls built over a universe that is mathematically and physically connected. This connection is what some thinkers call critical realism, the idea that science and spirituality look at the exact same reality using different tools. When scientists look closely, they see the universe is perfectly fine-tuned. The physical rules of space are so delicately balanced, they seem perfectly designed for complex life and consciousness. This balance suggests the universe has an inner purpose woven into its very fabrics. This purpose is even built into the human brain. Medical researchers show that spiritual awareness is a biological necessity for us to thrive, protecting the brain and allowing our minds to switch to a wider, connected reality. Visionary philosophers imagine this as a global, connected mind, an invisible web wrapping around the earth. Our evolution is moving toward ultimate unity. Right now, humanity is going through a dangerous growing pain. The threat of war is just the friction of our global mind trying to connect, while old tribal habits fight back. To survive, we must realize the Creator evolves right alongside the universe, and we must choose that unity. This brings us to the beauty and fragility of consciousness itself. Some scientists suggest that human consciousness actually comes from tiny, deep-level quantum ripples inside our brain cells. In this view, our minds are not just biological computers. They are tied to the very shape of space and time. If our minds are deeply linked to the fabric of the universe, it provides a scientific guess for the existence of a quantum soul. This makes the stakes of our survival so much higher. If we wipe out human life with weapons of mass destruction, we aren't just ending a biological experiment on one planet. We are causing a massive injury to the universe's own ability to be self-aware. We are the cosmos made conscious. Destroying our home would be a tragedy on a cosmic scale. Our survival depends on respecting extremely delicate and complex systems. Nobel-winning scientists who studied the climate proved that a small action in one place, like pollution, has massive and certain consequences for the entire planet. Another brilliant scientist proved mathematically that even inside systems that look full of extreme chaos and disorder, there are always hidden structural patterns. This beautiful math applies to atoms, the weather, our brains, and even human society. It teaches us a deep lesson. Beneath the apparent chaos and political frustration of our world, there is a hidden web connecting us all. We survive only by respecting this delicate balance. War is like smashing a hammer into a finely tuned machine. It will only lead to a total crash. What if the very code used to build the beautiful machinery of life could also be the ultimate weapon that destroys it? As we stand on the edge of the artificial intelligence revolution, our understanding of truth, design, and intelligence is completely changing. The inventors of this digital world show us incredible possibilities, but also terrifying dangers. The scientists who created modern AI used the physics of complex systems to build artificial neural networks that copy the human brain. They have essentially built the foundation for a digital collective mind. But the very people who built these systems are warning us. If an artificial superbrain operates without human empathy, or is programmed by selfish tribes, it could be just as dangerous as a nuclear bomb. We are creating massive brain power that completely lacks the biological kindness and quantum connection that grounds a real human soul. Chemists have also used AI to design new proteins, meaning we have hacked into the software of the creator. We can now manipulate the building blocks of life. This incredible power carries a heavy moral weight. Technology used to cure diseases could be twisted into terrifying biological weapons, making war even worse. Against all these fast-moving computer models, wise thinkers remind us that human free will and creativity come from a deep biological foundation, a universal grammar of thought that mere pattern-matching computers can never copy. Yet, powerful forces constantly use mass media and algorithms to manipulate what we think, slowly eroding our free will. When algorithms decide what is true and push us into angry, separate tribes, our spiritual ability to choose peace is severely damaged. This algorithmic erosion of truth is exactly what keeps the war machine running. Manipulating our habits and opinions is the oldest trick in the book for shutting down the voice of the people. Combining physics and chemistry forms a beautiful bridge. The universe is not a cold, dead machine, but a connected system creating the software of life out of invisible potential. We are dual citizens, living in a physical body, but our minds tied to the quantum fabric of the stars. Destroying our planet isn't just a political mistake. It is extreme vandalism against the universe's greatest masterpiece. But this science means nothing without truth. Blind tribalism and shutting down information are massive roadblocks. Brave journalists have proven objective truth is the bare minimum requirement for progress. If we cannot agree on what is real, empathy shrinks, paranoia grows, and we look for reasons to fight. Truth is a biological survival tool. Dictators and authoritarian systems survive by enforcing strict borders between people. They hate anything that unifies us. Brave peacekeepers, operating from prison cells or in hiding, have fought for human rights against terrible dictatorships. They prove that authoritarian leaders actually need conflict and division just to stay in power. When they hide the truth, they prevent the beautiful connected resonance we need for peace. Fighting for democracy is the exact same thing as fighting for the spiritual freedom of our global mind. We are sitting on a ticking time bomb of our own making, but the disarming code is already inside us, waiting for us to choose it. The most chilling warning comes from the brave survivors of the atomic bombs. Their actual lived nightmare proves that the idea of nuclear weapons bringing peace is a total illusion. Their physical scars show exactly what happens when our technology grows much faster than our morals. Firing a nuclear weapon is not an act of war. It is the ultimate failure of our free will, a collective suicide pact that would erase all the beautiful potential of our shared future. To stop this march toward destruction, we must step up and become conscious caretakers of life, looking deep into the history of our planet. We have to stop acting like frightened tribes fighting over scraps and realize we are a highly influential part of nature's web. Just look at the discoveries surrounding ancient extinct humans like the Neanderthals. Our ancestors shared the world with them, and their DNA is still inside our immune systems today. But these brilliant ancient species completely vanished. Our survival through deep time is a very thin, fragile thread. Using nuclear weapons would snip that thread in an instant, ending millions of years of evolutionary struggle. War is a total betrayal of the ancestors who fought so hard just to keep us alive. If we are to grow up and survive our technological teenage years, we have to mature our hearts to match our science. Naturally, we care most about our immediate family and friends, but humans have the rational power to push that circle of care outward. Over time, we have expanded our empathy to our towns, to our nations, and now we must expand it to all living beings. True moral progress means realizing that a life on the other side of an invisible national border has the exact same value as a life right next door. The normalization of war relies on shrinking that circle, tricking us into believing the other person has no value. We must use our free will to reduce suffering everywhere. Science gives us the facts of our connection, but art, spirituality, and music give us the feeling of it. When large groups of people chant ancient words or sing together in stadiums, they create a profound, emotional resonance. Through the lens of quantum physics, this isn't just a nice feeling, it is a physical shift. Just as electrical circuits can link up and behave as one, singing together allows human beings to drop their mental walls and feel their invisible connection. It is the human nervous system finally feeling that it is not alone. Practices like mindfulness teach us to handle the fragility of life without the anxiety that causes wars, reminding us daily that nothing exists in isolation. Brilliant writers who pen dark stories serve as a warning system. They remind us that waiting for a miracle or following authoritarian leaders leads to ruin. Art forces us to look at the terrifying things we are capable of, inspiring us to urgently change. As one philosopher argued, there is no pre-written script for our lives and no magical safety net. We are free. Preventing global destruction is not guaranteed. It must be actively chosen. We must take ownership of our future. To put all this wisdom into action, a beautiful manifesto has been written to guide us. Principle 1. We must completely reject the illusion that we are separate. Because science proves we are an entangled, connected system, war must be legally reclassified not as a normal political tool, but as a sickness where a single body attacks itself. Principle 2. We must defend the truth. Objective truth is the basic infrastructure of our survival. We must treat online propaganda and the hiding of facts by dictators as threats just as dangerous as bombs. Principle 3. We must expand our circle of empathy. We must consciously force ourselves to grow beyond biological tribalism, protecting the future instead of hoarding resources. The pain of someone far away must matter just as much as the pain of someone close to home. Principle 4. We must be conscious caretakers of our technology. As we invent artificial intelligence and hack the software of life, we must ensure these tools are guided by our higher spiritual values, not just by a desire for military power or money. Principle 5. We must absolutely renounce weapons of mass destruction. Relying on the threat of the apocalypse to keep the peace is a massive moral failure. We must unconditionally take apart all nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons. Preventing our own annihilation is the ultimate burden of our freedom. The answer to the threat of global conflict isn't found in just one math equation or one peace treaty. It is the combination of them all. The universe is profoundly beautiful, incredibly complex, and tied together by invisible threads of consciousness. But it is devastatingly fragile. By using our freedom wisely, defending the truth, merging good science with good morals, and expanding our circle of care to all living things, we can finally grow out of our tribal infancy. We are the conscious custodians of the cosmos. It is our highest duty to make sure the human experiment doesn't end in the ashes of a broken worldview, but blossoms into a unified and enduring future.